Welcome to Game Changers podcast series. I'm Mark Ranella.
The center of what we do is that kid that is predetermined for a terrible life, maybe in the future joining a gang here in Salvador and just being murdered before the age of 20. We want to change that life. We want to change and give him an opportunity and give him hope. So when you tell this story, when we pitch the story, we don't pitch a product, we pitch a story, basically. And we use a lot of storytelling for people to really empathize with the problem at stake and with the people who we help.
That was Andres Escobar, co-founder of IMPCT, spelled IMPCT, which he describes as the world's first impact trade specialty coffee company. IMPCT's mission is to transform low-income and urban slum communities through education. Their method is to directly source products from these low-income communities and then invest the profits right into hiring women from those same communities to run their preschools, which are branded PlayCare. This is sort of a virtuous cycle of social investment that starts with short-term impact, in this case helping to sell a local agricultural product and also employing people involved in a local social mission. That short-term impact has, in turn, long-term potential outcomes as well, which in this case is helping to alleviate poverty through early childhood education. Andres and his partners have experienced a lot of ups and downs in their short history, and there's a lot of hard work to do ahead. But in my short conversation with Andres, I could tell that his creativity and the vision he had gave him the energy and inspiration to fuel his efforts to make this social enterprise work. Moreover, the attractiveness of his mission has already pulled many important stakeholders towards their company, encouraging them to partner with Impact to help make the enterprise's vision a reality. And most importantly, Andres' acquaintance with the people his social enterprise aims to serve, the people who had the unlucky circumstance of being born into poverty in places like Guatemala, El Salvador, and South Africa, constantly reminds him of the huge positive difference his work can have on the lives of thousands of children, as well as their families and their communities. I caught up with Andres while he was in his office in El Salvador. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's the end of the day, a little tired,
Right.
Very productive day, but I'm happy. I'm
Oh.
happy, and thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm looking forward to learning more about your work. Your business could be described as social enterprise and with a social mission. So why are businesses like yours important? And what needs are they fulfilling that, say, other kinds of more standard businesses aren't doing?
Okay. I try to explain this to so many people on a daily basis here in Salvador, and it's a small country. There's a lot of poverty. There's not much going on with social entrepreneurship. Basically, the easiest way to explain what social entrepreneurship is to people who've never heard of it is just a hybrid between a normal company and an NGO. And then they say, but why? I mean, why is it important? And I try to explain it as, social entrepreneurship is recognized as a new model that tries to combine the financial disciplines of capitalism, of market capitalism, and blends it and mixes it with the passion and compassion required to create a better world, a more fair and just world. I think it's important because it provides a framework for normal businesses to find their way, to find their own success in the pursuit of helping others.
Right.
So I think that today's today's young people are always concerned about having a positive impact in the world as they're making money. And I was reading like a month ago an article in Forbes that says a whopping 94% want to use their skills to benefit a cause. So on a personal level, I think it really connects to my life's purpose. My job really keeps me motivated. It really brings me profound happiness, even if things sometimes get a little bit hard.
Right.
It's always I always go to bed with a smile, knowing that thanks to our efforts, some kid is having a better future. And for the products that we sell, I think they're socially responsible products, and that's exactly what today's consumer wants.
Right.
So I think we're on the right path, and the timing is pretty good.
It's great. I loved how you were described it as a combination of discipline and compassion, which sometimes people don't associate going together. And certainly NGOs and nonprofits are often noted for their compassion, or at least that's their compassionate stance. What's the discipline part that's different that you're bringing to this?
The disciplines that you need for social entrepreneurship is just the basic common things that I learned at my MBA program, for example, all the technical stuff, which is the minimum to run a business, but then you combine it with the compassion that is needed to actually feel the pain, like my Georgetown teacher said. You really, in Latin America, you really need to feel the pain about your people, about what's going on, and that's what will make you make big changes and empathize with the suffering of so many people. That's your engine right there.
Right, that's your motivation. Right, absolutely. So, well, let's talk about your specific enterprise then. Describe what it does briefly, and also especially how you think it's going to grow into the future.
Okay. Well, we're Impact Coffee, a social enterprise looking to improve early childhood education in underserved communities, and we do it through we sell specialty coffee around the world, and we source the coffee from developing countries like El Salvador, Guatemala, even Ethiopia, and soon Kenya. And we sell it in the growing market of Asia, mostly in Taiwan. That's where we studied, and that's where I met my co-founders. We were studying an MBA program. And so, yeah, basically we source coffee from countries like mine here, El Salvador, and we sell it in Taiwan. We have a really nice coffee shop over there, and we're very proud because and you can Google this, it's the highest rated coffee shop in the entire country of Taiwan.
Wow.
And it's great. I mean, I really encourage anyone to visit one of our coffee shops, and you can feel the energy of everyone working, everyone putting a lot of passion, putting a lot of love in preparing the best cup of coffee that you can imagine. And while you're drinking your coffee, that's when we explain to you what this coffee is doing. It's not just another cup of good coffee. It's actually changing lives. And then we also have a TV inside our coffee shop that is playing the social impact of our project. And you have the kids here in Salvador, the daycares that we build, that we refurbish, we remodel, and that's the moment right there, when our customers are sipping the coffee and watching what this coffee is doing. That's the magic part right there. So that's what we're doing right now in Taiwan. But here in Salvador and Guatemala, we we asked ourselves, instead of just doing the social part of the entire business, why can't we start selling coffee here too? I know it's a very competitive market, but there's a lot of people telling us, where can we buy your coffee? And I always told them, well, you need to go to Taiwan. So it was a little hard for them to support our initiative. So yeah, a few months ago we started selling coffee here too, and people love it. We have different versions of our coffee. We have a really top-notch specialty coffee that we sell at $12. It's a really good price. Usually, it's specialty coffee sells for more than $15. So I think $12 for the same quality of coffee, and it has a social impact. It's a good catch for everyone, and it's a no-brainer. But we also think that there's a big opportunity, not only selling to business to consumer, but also business to business. So we started to sell. Well, actually, companies started reaching us and telling us, I want to have your coffee for my employees as a small CSR program. And well, they gave us that idea, and we're like, yeah, sure, let's give it a try, and let's come up with a more affordable version of the coffee, because $12 is a little bit too much for office coffee. So we are working with farms. They're partners, great partners. They actually sell us. They actually give us amazing prices for the coffee and excellent quality. So that's how we're able to have a small margin that we dedicate to the social part. So we're starting to have pretty big companies buying our coffee and giving it as their office coffee in their companies as a small CSR program, by telling their employees, even the coffee that we consume here in this company has a purpose.
Oh, great.
And you know,
all the way down to that detail, right? That's great.
Exactly. And employees love it. I mean, they just love it. They just love the idea. And we have pretty big customers too in Taiwan. We're doing the same thing in Taiwan, selling to companies. You know, we have ACES, we have Iton and KPMG. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good path for us to grow our business.
And where are you applying the profits then for the social good to PlayCare, right? Your education arm, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So my co-founders had a great idea on making it really on making the whole customer experience really personal. So they came out with this idea of, for every box of coffee that we sell, inside you can find a unique code, and that unique code, you go to our website and you enter it, and you can claim your brick. So basically, one bag of coffee equals one virtual brick, and you can choose from different projects that we post on our website. You can choose like a project in South Africa, a project in Guatemala, a project in El Salvador. You can read about the project and what we're trying to do with that project. And if you identify yourself with that project and want to lay your brick specifically to, let's say, the Guatemala project,
right,
you can choose a project and you can lay that brick, and then we start sending you pictures and updates on how we're transforming that early childhood education center into something better. And that makes it really personal, and people love that simple detail of the platform. It's way better than just a product that says, if you buy this product, we'll give $1 to a poor kid.
Right.
And that's where
I haven't heard of that kind of granular interaction with the consumer with a social enterprise or a nonprofit thing. And consumers, are they responding positively?
Yeah, definitely. Well, not everyone claims their brick. It's like, 1 out of 4 people actually do it. I think we need to increase our efforts on communicating that you can actually do that. A lot of people, they just open the bag of coffee and start drinking the coffee, and they don't read the the text that we put in there explaining how to do it. Other people, they just don't know how to use uh, properly a website and claim their brick.
Right.
So we have a lot of work on that, but it's just an option, it's a bonus, it's a plus that we give them. If you really want to get specific on helping, you can actually handpick which product in the world you want to help.
Wow, that's so interesting. And that sounds like you have so many stories about this business that sound, either business-wise or connecting with populations. I'm wondering, what's your favorite achievement so far, or what's your favorite moment in working with impact?
Um, yeah, it's been a roller coaster for sure. I've wanted as a social entrepreneur, I've wanted to quit like 3 times, and there's just something that keeps me here. Um, I just can't picture myself in another job.
Hmm.
But the best experiences, by far, is the Hult Prize experience. Definitely was a really life-changing experience for me. I was, I was studying my MBA program, and I was heading for the corporate world, and I just wasn't happy with that idea. And then there was this Hult Prize competition opportunity that we
Yeah,
could participate.
could you describe that really quick for people who don't know the Hult
Okay,
Prize?
great. So Hult Prize is the biggest business model competition, and the purpose of Hult Prize is creating social enterprises that address the biggest social issues in the world. Every year there's a different topic, and they vary from, better water quality. The next year it's improving non-transmittable, like how to solve non-transmittable diseases. Our year was how to provide early childhood education.
Right.
Last year was immigration. This year is how to harness the power of energy. And it's a massive competition that's been growing exponentially in the last 10 years.
Hmm.
Um, the catch is the prize. The prize is $1 million of seed capital. It's a grant
Right.
given by Swedish funds, and they have a partnership with Bill Clinton. He's like the the face of the organization.
Right.
He's the one giving the prize, and now the final happens in the UN. So it's just, for any student, it's just super attractive to participate in this. And like I said, 94% want to use their skills to benefit a cause. So you can really see this reflected in this competition. There's so much energy in the participants. I was a participant in 2015,
Right.
and we won the competition, but I've also been helping them every year as a judge and identifying the best ideas that could actually change the world. So the whole prize experience was uh, the best experience ever. It was like a tornado that changed my life to something completely different. I would have never imagined 10 years ago, if someone would have told me you're going to be a social entrepreneur working in early childhood education selling coffee. That's ridiculous. I would have said you're crazy.
That's nuts. Right.
So so that's what I'm doing right now. I mean, I was picturing myself before that. I was working for a big telecom company in Africa, uh, and I was planning to keep working there, but then this happened, and I'm here, struggling to make a social enterprise work for the past 3 years, and
Right.
it's been great.
Also, in your work, like you said, there are like 3 times I was going to think about quitting, or that it's very difficult. I'm just wondering about, your creativity in dealing with some challenges that you have to deal with. It's a new kind of enterprise in an area where you have to explain yourself to a lot of people. I'm just wondering the role of creativity in helping you overcome some problems in that you faced in your business?
Yeah, I think one of our company's values, we're actually having a team of MBAs from a Salvadoran university helping us with our company's mission, our vision, and our values. And we were just discussing this values part, and definitely creativity is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we really believe in that since the beginning. We had to be creative. We had to differentiate ourselves. We had to use a lot of design thinking to come up with different possible ideas. And we always work. The best ideas that we've had have been under pressure.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that when you're under pressure, I mean, creativity just it's just multiplied by 10.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had to adapt to a lot of pivoting, and with every pivot that we've had in our social enterprise, we need to be super creative. And
could you provide like one example, like one specific time where
sure.
this worked?
No problem. So during the Hult Prize competition, we needed to change our idea a lot. At the beginning, we were always focused on providing early childhood education in a physical place, like a small room or something.
Mm-hmm.
But the sustainable part was, of course, the hardest part. At the very beginning, 3 years ago, we wanted to provide Wi-Fi to communities, and they would pay for the Wi-Fi, and we would subsidize somehow the early childhood education program. But that didn't work because everyone had cell phones. So the judges just destroyed our idea, and they were right. So we then decided to reinvent ourselves, and now we were going to launch and design a social impact investing platform.
Mm-hmm.
Something like Kiva, but instead of lending, it was going to be an investment. So, but then the SEC and our lawyers told us this is impossible, this is illegal. So we had to change again our idea, and finally we ended up selling coffee.
And this is working. That's great. That's great.
And it's working. That's the best part. It's working.
Right. So you did have to sort of persevere through a lot of these big bumps, essentially, and say, this doesn't work. What's next, right?
Definitely. There's, during the Hult Prize competition, there's a lot of students, like hundreds of them, emailing us, past winners emailing us, and just thirsty for advice, like, how did you do it? And it wasn't just one thing. It's just the sum of so many things. But if there's one advice that I always give is, do not fall in love with your idea. Fall in love with your purpose, with your mission, but how you do it, you need to resiliently look for that. Don't fall in love with just one thing. You need to constantly change, adapt your idea, iterate, pivot until you find something that works. And that's something that I've found that that a lot of students are actually applying to their ideas, and it kind of works.
So fall in love with your goal, but any way to do it is open, right? You have many ways to get to your goal, and be open.
Exactly.
To it, right?
Exactly.
Did you find yourself that you had fallen in love with your idea? Was it hard to give up the first?
At the beginning, yes. At the beginning, yes. We live in a world where they teach you how to do things only one way, and time is super valuable. And if you do something, it's for a reason, it's for a purpose, and you're not supposed to do it again. So for us as students, whenever we needed to prepare during the Hult Prize, we needed to prepare a PowerPoint. I was the one designing the PowerPoint and everything, and I spent like 2 days designing the PowerPoint, and then finally a beautiful presentation, and I would have my co-founders telling me, we need to change our idea, and everything that you've done, just forget about it and let's start over.
Mhm.
And personally, that really affected me. I was super angry, like I just lost 2 days of my life doing this, and you're gonna tell me that we need to start over, and everyone was like, yeah, I think we should change everything. And it was really hard at the beginning,
Right.
for me, but then I adapted, and I started, practicing what I preached with this, not don't fall in love with your idea thing, and it really works. And you don't take it personal anymore. It's just really objective. This doesn't work. Forget about this. Let's do it this way. No, okay, turn right, turn left, go straight. Let's go
Right.
back steps. It's always like that.
Let me wrap up then by taking putting your business in context. Because a lot of these businesses rely on partnerships. They rely on, strategic relationships with different, governments, individuals, angel investors, other companies. And so, I imagine, especially with private enterprise, that you've got to go out there and talk to people who don't understand social enterprise, say an investor or a banker or something like that. Um, how do they, how do they react to your ideas, and how do you win them over to work with you?
Okay. Yeah, it's different stakeholders need to be addressed differently.
Mm.
In social entrepreneurship, and specifically with our idea of selling a product, there are two ways to address them. We've found that there are people who are only interested in the money part, so you need to talk in their language, and there are people who are interested in the social part, so you need to talk in their language too. That's the first differentiation that we've noticed.
Right.
And I also find that whenever you're doing good, and I'm really convinced about this, um, I don't know if it's only in my country or in, well, we've also experienced this in Taiwan, so I don't think it's a coincidence. Whenever you're doing good, people tend to not make it, don't put more obstacles in front of you, like they try to help you. And so we feel sometimes that we don't have like a really strong competition,
Right.
or people don't see us as competitors, and we don't see the others as competitors. At some point, we even told people, hey, I mean, we're doing good here. We're changing lives. If you want to copy our idea in other countries, well, just do it, or
Hmm.
let's talk about it, and we can help you.
So one follow-up question from all the interesting things you were saying here. In the beginning of describing your relationship with stakeholders, you said a lot of them, when they find out that you're trying to do good, will actually maybe go out of their way to help you. Um, Elaborate on that a little bit. It's so interesting to hear how people will connect, cooperate with you once they understand your mission.
Okay, a really good example is our coffee providers. Impact Coffee doesn't own any farms. We just buy coffee and resell it, and with the profits, we do our social part. So in order for that to work, we need to push down our cost and push up our price, our selling price, right? So on the cost side, we in Salvador, we've found an amazing partner, and one of the biggest uh, coffee names here in our country for decades. They it's a huge coincidence that their director went to Taiwan to a coffee fair, and out of coincidence, he ended up in our coffee shop, and he saw everything. And when he realized that we were selling Salvadoran coffee, they were like, "This is great. Tell me more about it. Who's behind this?" And when he came back to Salvador, he contacted me, and we started a nice relationship, and we saw each other in coffee events. But since we were not selling coffee here in Salvador, I didn't find the need of doing business with them. It was just very genuine friendship.
Right.
So when I wanted to start selling coffee here, I just contacted them, and they were super happy. And we did a great pitch, storytelling, and everything. And since they already understand the whole value chain, they were like, "We're in." We produced 15,000 bags of coffee per year. So, giving you 1 or 2 bags of coffee at a really great price that we're not earning anything, just helping you as a, CSR program, it won't make any difference. And we were actually happy to help you.
Wow.
So they're giving us impossible price for coffee. I mean, that's really our huge advantage that makes everything work. And we're so grateful with them. And that's just one example of someone taking, going that extra mile to help you, and just identifying with your cause.
Well, that's just one of so many interesting stories we've gone over today. And I think it's testament to the fact that you're doing such sort of groundbreaking and inspiring work. You get people pulled in to your project that maybe would have no idea about it, but once they hear about it, their interest is piqued, and you have partners. That's really something. Andres made a lot of interesting observations about Impact's mission and how it has made his job both exciting and fulfilling. Helping to realize an idealistic mission is one of the main things that attracts people to social entrepreneurship. I was also struck by an insight he shared about entrepreneurship in general. His quote was, "Don't fall in love with your first idea." And I think for entrepreneurs and innovators alike, striking out into the unknown or the previously untried means, usually making mistakes and learning from them. And in the case of Impact, while their mission hasn't changed, the means of realizing that mission has gone through some significant changes, as one might expect. For new businesses in general, the first insight or hunch about how to succeed usually has to go through many iterations. And if innovators in fields such as social enterprise anticipate the need for many revisions to their business plans, they'll usually not only be likely to make improvements to the plan, but they'll also embrace the journey and enjoy themselves more. This is important because burnout is a common problem for people starting a new business. And it's a shame when startups with great potential might fail mainly because the founders get frustrated with the need to change. But as game changers know, change happens. Embracing it and reacting to it skillfully is a key attribute of successful business leaders. So until next time, this is Mark Ranella, Senior Editor at IXL Center, wishing you all the best. Take care.